ago, you heard a portion, excuse me, portion of the questioning from Congressman David Cicilline. He's a Democrat from Rhode Island. He joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being with us. I apologize for my cough and my cold. Today, while under oath, Acting Attorney General Whitaker said that he had not talked to the president about the Mueller investigation, that he hasn't interfered in the investigation in any way or blocked the funding. Did those answers give you comfort that he's handled the Mueller investigation properly?
No, not at all. In fact, the real question is, how did Matthew Whitaker become the acting attorney general? It was clear from his public statements, from the things he wrote, that he was auditioning for a job in the Trump administration and was a critic of Robert Mueller, critic of the investigation, said all kinds of things which suggested that he had made decisions about whether or not this investigation should even go forward. He's then plucked out of the Attorney General's office. He was the Attorney General's chief of staff. The president ignored a statute that says here's a succession of Senate-confirmed people who should replace the Attorney General in a vacancy. The president ignored that process, and you have to wonder why. Why did he pick Mr. Whitaker? The hearing today makes it very clear the reason he picked Mr. Whitaker was because he already had views that he was going to protect the president. And although he says he didn't talk to the president, he couldn't remember whether other people that he had shared the information that he received from the special counsel with other members of his staff, and he couldn't answer the question as whether or not they shared that information with officials at the White House or the president. So he was very evasive. He was clearly contemptuous of Congress, didn't believe he should be participating in an oversight hearing. I think it was very clear he should have recused himself, but we're not done with him. He didn't answer many questions, and we intend to bring him back in a deposition before the committee so we can get those answers.
I mean, it is surprising that the acting attorney general would not say categorically that the Mueller investigation is not a witch hunt.
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking. I mean, here it is. He says he respects Mr. Mueller. He's an honest man. He respects the men and women of the department. But he would not. He was fearful because he had an audience of one. He knew the president was watching him, and he could not say anything that would draw the anger of the president, because my guess is he wants to continue to work in the Trump administration. It was an audition for the president. He didn't answer questions that the committee asked. He was really contemptuous. I mean, every time we got to the important issues of what was shared in terms of the information he received from the special counsel, he danced around and really refused to answer the questions.
You referenced this. There are those tweets and the commentary that Whitaker made before he was named the acting attorney general that were critical of the investigation. Is there any real evidence, though, that you know of that indicates he's acted improperly in any way when it comes to the Mueller investigation while being the acting attorney general?
Well, we just don't know, because he would not answer today about conversations he had with the president. He would not answer or could not answer whether the information he learned from the briefing from Mr. Mueller was communicated to the White House or the president's legal counsel by others. So we have many more questions that he hasn't answered. What we do know is that the ethics officials at the White House recommended that he recuse himself because of his prior statements. He refused to follow their advice. He also said, you know, I don't have any idea what the president thought about Jeff Sessions' recusal. Now, he was chief of staff to Jeff Sessions. He said under oath today, I have no idea how the president viewed that. We all know just from what's in the public domain how the president viewed it. So there are real questions why he's there, why he didn't recuse himself. And so as a consequence, we really don't know what actions he's taken in his capacity as acting attorney general. He refused to answer many questions and suggested somehow that although he wasn't invoking executive privilege, he had decided not to answer them pursuant to some DOJ policy. So we're committed to getting those questions answered, because the American people have a right to know that he didn't do anything improper in interfering in any way or sharing with the president and his legal team any of the information he received from the special counsel.
I mean, it is, you know, it defies belief to say that you don't know what the president thinks of Jeff Sessions recusing himself. I mean, that's probably the one thing the president has been crystal clear on and not changed his opinion of from the get-go.
Exactly.
In the hearing today, you repeatedly asked Whitaker if the president had lashed out at him over Michael Cohen's guilty plea, and he denied that the president ever did that. Do you believe him?
Well, I mean, it has been publicly reported from credible sources that, in fact, the president did lash out. The way he answered that question was very interesting. He sort of paused in a very, very long period of time. You know, I think he was not being forthright with the committee. And I asked him again whether the president or others had expressed their displeasure, and he was very cagey in his answer. But look, I believe the public reporting.
Congressman Cicilline, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hope you feel better.
Thanks. I want to bring in the lawyer.